Hey guys. So I was working on some feedback for Daniel, and I've seen this in a few animations where if you look at this back knee, it kind of does this like hitch deal and then walks forward. Um, and we went over ways to like clean up the curves to try and get that hitch out of there, but it is kind of tricky to get that hitch out of there. So usually when I run into stuff like this, I use a thing called motion trails. And to kind of illustrate how it works, if I have a simple animation, so it's just a box doing this, under the animation tab, go motion trail, this made a thing that shows me the curve the box follows. This comes in handy in a ton of places. And then the keyframe that it's on. So I use that tool all the time. But the tricky part is I don't have a control on the knee to watch the knee. Like if I wanted to do motion trail on the heel, that works. So that gives me a curve to watch the heel move, which is pretty smooth. It does have some hitches. But overall, I think that's clean. I don't think anyone will complain about that. So how do I find, there's obviously an object there in space, so I need to find that object. I do know from messing around with this rig that there's a group called Boney Skeleton group, where I can grab this knee and go show motion trail, which gives me a trail. I'll turn joints off, or I'll just hide this again. So the trail's there, but you can see on the trail there's that hitch there. So it goes bam, slam down, and then over. And that's just the relationship between all these feet, objects, and the hips, just solving in a kind of unpretty way on the knee there. Boom. And that happens in animation pretty often. But one of the things I wanted to show you guys is how do you figure out in this rig where to find that knee to even throw a motion trail up. You could try and track it down through the IK system, but usually I just know from experience that FK control rigs are usually a lot simpler than the IK system. And a lot of rigs you can just grab the FK control and go window node editor. This thing just keeps track of what things are linked to what. So I can go, what is this rig control? Controlling, exactly. So this is, so there's incoming and outgoing. It's like what is controlling this FK control, and what is it controlling? So that's what this guy is, the outgoing. So I can look at this and I just know joints are this, and that's a joint, and I'm looking for joints because I know there's a joint there because it's a rig, so chances are really high there's a joint there I can grab, and I can tell it's like right there. So the first thing I did is I grabbed this guy and I went, okay, is this gonna work? And I was frame stepping through it and noticing that that joint is not in the right spot. Like it's kind of, it's off. You can see how it's like not moving right. Hold on, I actually keyframed the FK switch. So I looked at this thing and I went like, what is it controlling? And I found a knee object that is in the right spot. So I was like, okay, this object looks like something I can use to motion trail from. And then over in the outliner, if you press F on the outliner, it takes you there. And then I noticed the parent of that is something called Boney Skeleton group. You just have to do this sometimes in 3D animation. A lot of times when you're working at a studio, you'll get you just go ask somebody, or if you're in class, you can ask a teacher or ask a student that you know has gone through this a few times already. So now that I know where that knee is, I can go create motion trail, see that knee. Okay, how do we fix it? So we've got all these objects. They're all probably keyed here and here and here. So we can probably just go here and go, I'm going to pull the knee back a little. And you just kind of play with the animation a bit to try and clean it up. What we're not seeing here is like there's usually little ticks on the keyframes. I don't know why that's not happening. Most of the time you get those ticks, which is more helpful. Create polygon primitives cube. If I figure that out, that's just something specific to this rig. If I figure it out, I'll let you guys know, and I'll post an update. Okay, simple animation, create motion trail. Yeah, so normally on the keyframes you can see where it is. So sometimes when I'm animating and trying to clean this up, I'll set a key on every keyframe so I can see where the poses are. Unfortunately with this rig, there's something that's telling it not to display correctly. So you can see like these two keys are really close, but it's really hard to tell. And then it pops forward. So that pop is something you want to try and get out of your animation as well. You want it to be kind of as clean as possible. And then you'll notice that the pop ends up back on the foot. So you're just taking a bit of uneven. Now I'm deleting motion curve. You're taking a bit of unevenness and you're kind of just placing it and hiding it somewhere else. But you end up with a much smoother knee animation in general when you start looking at curves. A lot of times doing this level of animation work really separates the amateurs from the pros. If I see somebody that has that stuff all cleaned up in their work, I know that they're a level of animator that I can usually hire. So yeah, keep an eye out for this kind of trick in your work. It's worth spending the time to try and figure this out. So take a look at this video and then come bug me if you guys need help figuring this out. Okay, see you later.